Call this meeting of the Fayette County Commissioners to order. Start with the pledge of allegiance to the flag. Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You have a copy of the minutes. Excuse me. You have a copy of the minutes of preceding meetings or any additions or corrections?
Mr. President, if there are no additions or corrections, I move the minutes be accepted as presented. Second.
Been moved and seconded, the minutes be accepted as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. Department head reports. Richard?
Morning.
Morning.
I don't know if you've been down there or not, but they got the foundation poured for the building. You're going to start doing the floor now. Ready to give you a heads up on what's going on with that. Been working on putting up guardrails in some spots. There should have been some up a long time ago, but down on Johnson School Road, at the T there, Sains and Johnson School, right next to the bridge. We put a new one up there, 11-footer. That way someone was to turn left coming down Johnson School, bad weather, keeps them from going off down into the creek. Been doing some ditch work. Did a big old ditch over on 350 East. The roadway was giving out, dropping off, so we put some riprap in there to try to stabilize the bank there. Been putting up delineators, marking all the head walls and culverts out there. That way nobody hits them during bad weather. We get a bunch of snow. We'll make sure we see where the big head walls are at. Other than that, just doing the normal routine of things right now. We just wait for it to snow. Ain't much you can do out there in this type of weather. That's it, unless you guys got something.
Want to tell us about that big deer you got?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Richard. Surveyor, Warren Suttoff.
Same.
Warren here. Maintenance, Bill Gray.
Morning.
Good morning.
I don't have a whole lot. I spoke with the elevator people over the phone. He gave me a ballpark of $75,000 to repair that elevator.
Is
That's
he
another
talking about
ball-
giving us any credit for
That's
all them?
another ballpark.
Is he giving us any credit for all them pieces they put
Well,
in?
that'll all stay.
Huh?
That'll all stay. All the pieces he put on there will stay,
Okay.
no matter what happens. I want to get another bid. I'm going to go out, see if I can find another elevator company. I'm just not comfortable with that much, putting that much money in that thing and not getting, at least getting a second opinion. You know, see if he's, because I'm not an elevator expert, and I just, that's a lot of money.
Well, whoever we get, we want to get some kind of guarantee that they're
Exactly.
going to work
Well,
when
yeah,
they
we
get
won't
done.
do it any other way. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on getting somebody else to come down here and look at it and see if he's telling me what. I mean, I'm not doubting him. I see what's going on. I know there's concrete down there, but I just like to have somebody else to look
Right.
at it.
So that's Vertical Systems quote.
I'm sorry.
Vertical Systems
Yes.
quote for $75,000.
Yeah.
But it's not even a quote.
No, it's not a quote. It's just a
an estimate.
ballpark. It's just over the phone. He said it could be more. He said once they pull that shaft, if it caves in, and you're talking a drill team to come in and re-drill the hole. You know,
It'd be another 75,000.
yeah, at least, if not more. So that's why I want to get somebody else in here to look at it.
Okay.
So that's what I'm gonna work on that. The only other thing I have is the contracts are coming due for the HVAC systems through all the buildings, all the service contracts. And I'm working on those now, and I'll get them in your box before the next meeting.
Okay.
So we can go over that.
Okay.
And we're gonna start painting at the jail, probably today or tomorrow. We'll be working on that.
Okay.
Okay? That's all I
Okay.
have.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you, sir.
IT Director, Mr. King.
I have a couple things for you. I probably should have set these in your boxes, but I forgot this morning.
Chairman.
These are quotes for the video recorder for our camera system. I've been trying to get us up from 16 channels, which is what we've had on the recording system, to 32, and I've been getting quotes for that. Then I found out last week that Betty had asked me to pull some video, and we had, it said it was recording, but it didn't actually record anything. It's like it was, the recording was going off in La La Land. The company that has the software and the product that we've been using, I've been trying to get support from them, have not gotten any response from emails, from phone calls. So I'm reluctant to stay with this product, which is the Acti NVR system. Got quotes. The Hike Vision is done by CEI here in town. That's the one that they support. So we would have local support for the product. Instead of just 32 channel, which is how many cameras we currently have, it's a 64 channel system. So as we find need to add more cameras, we've already got that ability there. It's also expandable to other locations. Because I know with, like if we would decide to put new cameras over at Community Corrections at some point, they could be monitored from one area, so those systems could be interconnected. That's the same system that you saw last week when they were here demoing it. So the quote on that was $35.39. The other two quotes are for the other system, and they came in at roughly $2,000 for the cheapest, but that's without hard drives, which run about $250 a piece, and without any kind of support that we can count on. So if there is a problem with the software or hardware, how much can we rely on this company when we already can't get a hold of it?
Well, the question I have real quick is, I mean, we spend a lot of money putting these cameras in and all that, and now we're looking at an additional. And is this a software company? They won't get back to you? And
It's actually the company that makes the NVR that works with our cameras, and that's where I've been having a problem finding a different system that will record from the cameras we currently have.
can they, I don't know, we're not in a contract with them, are we?
No.
And they won't reimburse us, will they? Because we don't like their product.
Well, the cameras work fine.
Cameras are fine.
It's-
Right.
It's the recorder part, and I don't know if that was paid for, if that was just part of the, I mean, we can repurpose the server that records on those to something else. So the hardware is still usable. It's basically a computer server that records on this software. And the software itself for 16 channels was free, so we didn't actually pay for that software to my knowledge.
Okay.
But to go to 32 channels, it was like $1,300 just for the software, which we haven't got working. And then the Acti NVR, which is those other two quotes, aren't working at all. You know, we can't get a hold of them for the one problem. What's going to happen if we get the other NVR and we have problems? We're going to have the same problem. We can't get a hold of them.
So what do
So
you recommend, Michael?
personally, I recommend going with the Hike Vision system from CEI, just because there's local support with Ron Best and his company, because that's what they use. If we can't get hold of Ron Best, there are support in the state or in the area by sales reps and engineers. So we're not going to be left in the lurch if something happens.
Okay.
How soon do you need a decision on this?
Well,
The sooner the better. I mean, the cameras are...
We need the system to be complete and working, where we can
And
see
reliable.
where we can see what we got.
I mean, the labor part of that might very well be quite a bit less, because it all just depends on how long the setup takes, which I don't imagine should be too long. But he quoted 8 hours. The rest of the system, the 2240 and the 718 is just the hardware itself.
So this will fix the problem.
Yes. And then we'll have another server, which is the one that we currently are using as the NVR, that we can repurpose to something else rather than having to buy another server. And I know we'll need another server that I've already talked to Michelle about for the PBS system that they use for their records. Because the one that we've got now is old, like 10 years old.
So the system just needs to be.
We should do this right.
Right.
That's what I was going to look at.
took the cameras out of edit tax, but I think that's probably spent.
But I don't know. I'm not 100% sure.
This company.
He don't know, because he don't.
Yeah, I know. If we don't have, we have it in, we still have
I
some
think
money
Sharon
in
said
your
it was still
line.
in the camera fund.
But I think, yeah, we do have, Sharon says we've got the money.
So the company that you say you can't get a hold of, we're not paying them anything?
No, we're
right?
not.
Okay.
And I'm just reluctant to get another product from them with
I understand
already
that.
finding we've got problems with support.
Right.
Right. Yeah,
Well,
that makes sense.
especially since they won't answer your
Yeah, I mean,
inquiries.
if I'm just having a problem with the software and they're not helping me, what's gonna happen when we spend $2,000 and get stuck with a product that they're not gonna
Right.
get back with us
Okay.
on? So.
I didn't mean to question it, I just,
Oh, no, I understand. I mean, it's not, you know, it's
Put a lot of money into
$3,500. It's not like it's a $5
right.
product. You know, I don't want to buy it if we don't have to, but I really think we need to.
But it's kind of the last piece of the camera system
Yeah.
that we really need.
Okay.
Mr. President, I'll move to accept the quote from CEI for $3,539.20.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded, we accept CEI's quote of $3,539.20 for finish off the camera system. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Paul Freed came to me last week, right before the holiday, and asked me to get information on getting a fax line put into the Superior Court office, because they don't currently have a fax machine of their own. They're currently, every time they have to fax something, they're going over to the clerk's office. The additional cost would be $25.65 per month just for the fax line for that office. We already have a fax machine we can use, so there's no actual cost as far as that. I just want to make sure it's okay to go ahead with that, because it'd just be additional phone cost. I wasn't sure how that would work, but I wanted to clear it with you guys.
Well, they need equipment to operate the office, you know.
Move to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, we approve the additional cost for the fax line in the Superior Court. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Once I get that, I'll get you guys to sign. Hopefully I should have that within a couple days.
Good.
The final thing is using a part of the phone system that we have that nobody had really set up before. I've started blocking some calls that some of the offices have said have been nuisance calls, primarily foreign companies, telemarketing. They're getting, the assessor's office was the one that started this. They were getting 8 or 10 calls a day asking for somebody that didn't work there. That was some kind of scam. So I just started blocking it. I don't want to do it to local calls, but it's just, they were getting 8 or 10 calls a day, and even 3 minutes a call, it's 30 minutes a day that's lost.
Right.
So just wanted you guys to be aware that I'm starting to do that. It's very selective, and it's primarily going to be foreign calls or nuisance
Yeah,
ones.
I think that's appropriate.
So, anything else for me?
Now, this CEI, that's something that he can get done right away?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, he's got the equipment.
Yeah, he just has to order the actual recorder,
Okay,
and that should be here fairly quickly, he said. So,
okay.
Okay.
Thank
Thanks.
thank you.
you. Mr. Appel?
I just need the exact limits or locations for the speed limit ordinance that was passed last meeting. I talked to Warren about it, but he's not here. You guys gonna get those?
He called me that I've been sick for 10 days, and he and I are gonna get together and get the exact locations, and then we'll get back with you.
Okay, and then besides that, I have nothing unless anyone has any questions for me.
No? Okay. Mail. We have a letter from Sarah Plow, stating that she wishes to resign from the cemetery board. At the end of this year. So we're gonna need a replacement for her. So anybody who would like to serve on that board, let us know, and then before the first year, we'll try and make that appointment. Animal shelter donations, I had that, but I don't, have you got that?
Yes. You want me to read them?
Right, read it.
We have a letter, 2 letters here from Ann Hockersmith at the animal shelter. She received a $930 donation in memory of Audra Ross. And she, no, that's the same one. There's another one, I think $500. Huh?
500.
500, that was from Von Metz, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
And who was that?
Dr. Von, it was from
No.
Dr. Von Metz for Audra Ross.
Oh, that was also for Audra
Yeah.
Ross. So now, the total in the donation fund is now, oh yeah, I did have that one, 500. $32,283.43
Okay,
in the donation fund.
good.
I also wanted to mention that the animal shelter had received a sizable donation, not cash-wise, but lots of food and blankets and stuff for the animal shelter from an employee of Stant. She did a lot of gearing up for, trying to get donations for that. So I just wanted to tell Sarah thank you for all her hard work.
Mr. President, it might be a good chance, or a good opportunity now to commend Ann Hockersmith for her work at the shelter. She is retiring at the end of the year, as well as John Valentine in the surveyor's office. They've been good employees, and I'd like to recognize them as such.
Thank you for their service.
Yeah.
We also have a letter from Doug Howard concerning the Mahan Park down by below town. Kind of admonishing the commissioners. It says, due to the nearly total neglect of the Fayette County Commissioners, the park had deteriorated to the point it is an embarrassment to the general public and the Mahan family in particular. This park is heavily used and is the only free public and access to the river in the entire county. It is a shame it has been allowed to be degraded due to the lack of action on your part. Therefore, unless immediate action is taken to begin to restore the park in the condition it was in when donated to your care, legal action will be taken to remove your ownership in accordance with deed restrictions. Signed by Doug Howard. So,
I'll give that to Chris.
you can give that to Chris.
Is there Mr. President, is there a way to give that back to them, since he obviously is concerned about the property, and I'm sure he'd much rather spend his own money and time fixing it up the way he wants? Can we just simply give it back to them?
We'd have to ask Chris to look at it and see what we can do and then decide what we want to do.
Because this is the first I've heard of this, and I don't know that any of the other two you've heard that evidently we're inadequate in that area.
Does he have some sort of capacity?
Beg your pardon?
His uncle is Art Mahan, and the Mahans donated the land for that. It's just a little piece of land adjacent to the river there at 3 Mile Bridge off of 121.
Was it like 11 acres or something?
No, it's not.
Well, that's the first I've heard of
He
it.
said that's
Is
what
there a
it
copy of the deed of the conveyance to the county?
Well, we can get
was.
one.
Get it.
Yeah, we can get one.
I mean, in the event of a problem, I mean, if we don't know about it, we can't fix it. It's the first I've ever heard about it.
Okay, I'll just have to look at the conveyance there, could see if there's any restrictions.
We can get that for you, Chris.
I do know that Community Corrections goes down there, and they clean out trash and et cetera, so I do know that it is paid attention to some degree.
Mr. Reeves?
Yeah, the only thing I can address on that is keep in mind that is, as far as an emergency services provider, our access to the river, that's where most of our problems are. when we go in with our equipment, the last time down was the last flood that we had this year. And it took us forever to get equipment in and back out. I think the biggest problem down there is the access road in and out is, got some pretty good holes in it. We actually got our trailer stuck down there with our swiftwater rescue stuff. So that's all I seen when we was down there, but it is, I don't know how the county feels about that, but that's one of our main accesses to the river.
Well, we'll look at it and study that and take it up probably the next meeting or soon after. Okay. Old business, we have none. New business, Mr. Parker, EDG Director.
Good morning.
Morning.
Like to report to you this morning that economic development work continues going forward with a good deal of activity. Certainly out of our office there is a continuation of people who are pursuing business interests in Connersville. We have one that I have not been given permission to use their name or what the nature of their business is, but they've made an offer on a property here in Fayette County to start a business. And when they give me permission, I will certainly be willing to share because it would be good for everyone. Also, we continue to move forward with our rebuilding our website. We're about to award the contract to a company and give Connersville and Fayette County a little more presence on the web, a little more professional way. And beyond that, we continue to work with your support, with the commissioner's support, to qualify Connersville and Fayette County as a ACT work-ready community. So that work is continuing on. We've accomplished our first academy, and our second one will be going on in the second week of January. There'll be 2 more that will follow. And beyond that, I just want to compliment and thank each of you for your pro-business attitude and for your service that you render to Fayette County. I'm a registered voter and a taxpayer, and I think you're doing a great job. I appreciate each one of you for what you do for the county, and I appreciate your support of economic development. It means a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And beyond that, unless you have a question for me.
I don't think so.
Well, thanks for all that
Thank
you
you.
do, man.
Michelle Dudley.
I got plenty of money.
Let's hire somebody. You know more about it than we do. You know more about it than we do.
Let's see. Take it back. I had a couple things that weren't on there that just popped up, so.
The first thing I have is I have 2 vacancies for Assistant Director and Facility Supervisor, and I would just like permission to fill those positions. I'm extremely shorthanded, and also I plan to promote from within, so that's going to create another opening. I'd like to fill those 3 openings that are already budgeted and have been filled. On the Assistant Director's position, I did the job descriptions when I first came in, and Kent Irwin reviewed them, typed them up. He fills out the top on the FLSA status is exempt, and I would ask the commissioners to change that to non-exempt, so that the person that goes in there can either get comp time or overtime. There was never an assistant's position before, so it was a new position when I came over. And I need for you guys to make that non-exempt, or somebody's going to take a cut in pay.
If the other gentlemen don't have any objection, I'll move to approve the FLSA status change from exempt to non-exempt per Ms. Dudley's request.
Does the assistant director have disciplinary action, or can they do disciplinary action? Like write-ups and so on and so forth?
I'm the only one that does those.
Okay. Second.
Been moved and seconded, we approve changing the status from non-exempt to, or from exempt to non-exempt, whichever was on that.
Pardon?
We're changing this to what now?
Non-exempt.
To non-exempt for the assistant director's position. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
And I'd like to fill those 3 open slots that I've got, and one of them I attached a resume there. That person's already employed part-time. I'll be offering that person a full-time position. I attached the resume with his qualifications there. And that would be for facility supervisor.
So you're moving,
And you gave that to me?
you're moving.
Just as a courtesy, I just wanted to let you guys know that I need to fill those 3 and that I'd be moving him up. It's not a new hire, but
You're moving an existing employee to the deputy director's job, correct?
I will be doing that, and I will be moving the part-timer there to a full-time position.
Okay.
And I've still got another position to fill.
Okay.
The second thing is the letter to you guys. I need you to make the reappointments, the positions to my advisory board that expire at the end of the year would be Adrian Ellis as the lay minority, Jenna Turner as chief probation officer, Russell Hodges as the school superintendent, Frank Jackson as the lay position as the commissioner, and Michelle Richardson as the CASA or victims assistants. I just need you guys to reappoint them for another 4-year term. And also attached to that was a letter of resignation from Alan Dipkovich, who was the defense attorney that was on the board. His position went until December 31st, 2016. I've spoken with John Bodwell and asked him if he would accept that position. He is a proponent of our program, has a lot of interaction with us anyway, and he graciously accepted if you would appoint him for the remainder of Alan's term, which would be till December 31st, 2016.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the reappointments. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
The third thing I have is an email, and it says DOC TANF grant submission. I just received an email late Tuesday afternoon from Director Lloyd at the Department of Correction, who is the head of Community Corrections. And they have preliminary good news that the Division of Family Resources is going to award a 2-year grant. The grant is to be dispersed to 3 divisions of parole, community corrections, and religious services to conduct TANF-type programming geared at strengthening marriages, formation, and maintenance of a 2-parent family, job skills, retention for inmates with kids in the home, and reduction of out-of-wedlock pregnancies. They've budgeted $5 million for the first year, $3.75 for the second year. There was only 7 community corrections agencies that were chosen in the state to be permitted to apply for this, and we were one of them. So I'd like to put a big pat on my staff over there for their hard work, that
Very
we
much
were
so.
chosen, and I would like your permission to apply for that. I have to send a letter of intent to them by this Thursday.
I think that's great.
Move to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve applying. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you.
Sheriff Wason.
Oh, it's
Skinny.
the next best thing.
That's what it says here.
Yeah. He's at training.
Sure. What?
Yeah. Sheriff on wheels.
And for us, every time they did, said someone as smart as he is.
Yeah.
I just provided you guys with the estimates for the carpet that we discussed for the jail. That will be for the sheriff's office, detective's office, and the jail commander secretary's office. Just was made aware that the carpet in the sheriff's office from a former sheriff, Mr. Jackson, that it's about 25 years old in there, so needing repaired. The bid from Foles is about $45 cheaper, so.
Well, they were both local companies, and I would recommend we take the cheapest of the two.
I'll make that motion, Mr. President.
I'll second.
And move and say we accept Full's estimate of $1,155.71 for the carpet for the jail. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, and Sheriff Wason also wanted to let you guys know that he contacted Reedman's already about the vehicle, about getting some options on that. We discussed that the last time about moving forward with that.
Okay.
So don't know where it's at yet, so I haven't talked to Jeff yet, so we'll see where things are, so let
Okay.
you guys know.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Emergency management grant approved.
Adrian emailed me. This grant has come through for, to tell you the truth. Shoot, I do. Copy of the letter he sent me. Let me see what's it's in the amount of. $8,485.29. And the letter was for, hold on a second. Oh, I know, this is for that FM radio station he's been working on, that low power FM. And I printed out 2 copies, and the grant agreement needs to be signed, so I've got 2 copies here for you to sign when you're ready to sign stuff.
Okay.
So if you wanted to just approve receiving the grant.
All right. We need a motion to,
It's through Department of Homeland Security.
we need a motion to approve receiving the grant from Homeland Security.
So moved.
Second.
Then move and say we approve receiving the grant from Homeland Security. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Ordinance is related to county health insurance. It's-
I don't think I gave them a copy of this.
Our county health insurance this year, we thought was gonna come in 8.5% higher, and it turned out getting that down to a 5% increase over last year. Last year, we gave employees who were on 65 and older and on Medicare the options of, instead of taking the county health insurance, that they receive a stipend of $495 a month to buy a supplement, a health supplement to the Medicare
That's for employee and spouse,
for employee and spouse, and
$280 for a second.
that does two things. One, that they have better insurance, then they can get better insurance with that than what our plan is. Plus, it saves the county
It's $8,000 a year.
around roughly $8,000 a year. We can't make that mandatory on them, but we do make it available, and it's beneficial for both the employees and the county. So I would entertain that we go ahead and make that stipulation this year, that we grant a stipulation if they so desire in lieu of taking our insurance.
So moved.
Second.
Then moved and seconded that we allow a stipend for people 65 years and older for them to buy supplement to their Medicare insurance in lieu of taking the county insurance. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Also, with our health insurance, we have two different options that people can take on the county insurance. One is with a, what do you call it,
Health savings
health savings account. Last year, we gave, the county gave each employee $1,500 to put in their health savings account to help with their deductibles.
Well, it was $1,000 for an individual plan,
And
but they had
$1,500
$1,500 for a family
for a
plan.
family. We had, when we do that, if you give them $1,000 or $1,500 and they work a month, they've still got that money. I would suggest that we divide that up and give monthly payments of that, so if they're working, they get it, and if they're not, then they don't.
I think it's appropriate.
I do too.
So we need a motion to that effect.
So the money you put into the account will add up to $1,000 at the end of the year?
Right, $1,000 for singles and $1,500 for family plan.
Mr. President, I'll move that instead of a yearly deposit into the health savings plan, that it be made on a monthly basis.
Second.
We need a second to that motion. We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. That's the end of the items on the agenda. Is there any patrons' concerns?
John Positive. Oh, I'm sorry, forgot John. I didn't write him on your,
He's
so sorry.
It's
John.
not on here. You almost got left out.
I'm so sorry, and you waited so patiently.
Just a quick request. We're in the process of constructing a restroom for Channel 3 and would like to request a waive of the area planning construction fees.
I think that's appropriate, and while we're talking about that, I think it would be appropriate if we enter into an agreement with the city where fees from either side would be waived. There's no need of one government unit charging the other, taking out of one pocket and putting in the other, so we didn't have to keep coming and asking for these. We have things coming up which for instance, we're gonna have to hook up the sewer down to the new highway garage, that's another fee we'd be asking the city to waive, so if we could get our attorney to write up that agreement, get the city to, then it would just be automatic.
I'll make two motions. Motion to approve Mr. Palsy's request. And then the second motion would be for our attorney to devise an interoperative agreement that allows both entities to waive fees.
So they'll agree to it.
Assuming they'll agree to it, yeah.
I'll talk to the city attorney. see
Yeah,
what-
I don't think there should be any problem, I don't think.
Can you see him anytime soon?
If I'm lucky.
Is there a second? We can just
Second.
handle both those motions in one.
Okay.
Been moved and seconded that we do waive the fee for Mr. Palsy and that we ask our attorney to draw up an agreement and see if the city would go along with just agreeing to waive the fees if the city or the county has a desire from the other. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Sir?
Yes, sir.
Now, do we have any patrons' concerns?
I was forgotten on the agenda as well. I am following up for the leaning antenna that we discussed. It would have been 2 meetings ago. The last meeting I was on the agenda to bring it up. I contacted Mr. Jackson before the meeting and he advised that nothing was done with the advisory board on it yet. So I'm here to find out where that is.
Remind us again, we know we
Adrian
got,
came to the last meeting, didn't
Do what?
he? Adrian spoke to
Adrian was
that.
at the last meeting
last
and he wasn't able to make it, so.
Adrian took care of the leaning antenna then?
He brought us pictures and showed us, and
Okay.
but there, no
Yes.
action was taken.
no actions.
Okay.
So what is it you're recommending?
Well, I pretty much, to speak frankly, since my suspension, I have been left out of the dark. I am giving department heads, you guys, everybody a beginning of the week email and a last of the week email. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I have better things to do than sit here at this meeting if it's already been taken care of too. I'm not
Well,
invited to
Terry,
any
the
advisory
last meeting,
meetings.
you and Adrian were invited to this meeting and you didn't show up, as I recall.
I was on the agenda to discuss the leaning antenna. Mr. Jackson, I called him, talked to him that morning, texted him and asked him if I needed to be there, if anything further was going with my antenna, because I was gonna help in dispatch because it was the slick day. And he advised me that I did not need to be here, that nothing had been taken care of. So I did not show up last week
And then Adrian,
because of the conversation that me and Mr. Jackson had before that Tuesday morning.
Adrian didn't take care of anything. He simply presented us pictures
Right.
of the antenna and some other things. I've quite frankly forgotten everything. Okay, so again, my question is, what kind of corrective action are you requesting from us?
What do you want to do about the leaning antenna that's on the county's antenna up there?
Okay, but that's why I'm asking, what is it you want to do? Are you,
I had provided
we're
you
aware of the
guys,
problem?
I had provided you guys with a quote from ERS to fix the antenna.
Okay,
You
and
were
what is
going
that
to
quote?
table it, discuss it with the advisory board.
Okay.
and
And
then-
what is that quote? Refresh my memory.
I didn't want to give the exact amount in case you guys wanted to bid it out. And it's, I mean, if Adrian's gonna deal with it, then Adrian can deal with it, then let me know. I can spin my wheels doing other things. I mean, Bart and I've sent emails, I have not gotten one reply from any commissioner or any department head since I was suspended. I took my suspension, I have rectified problems, I have had one complaint since the suspension. I am left out of the dark on everything. And it is my department that I am responsible for. And it is frustrating. And you would be too.
I don't know.
And I brought this a month ago, and then you said you were gonna table it, and then you had an advisory board meeting that week.
Well, to begin with, if I understand correctly, these antennas have been in this position for how long?
Over a year.
Over a year, okay. So there's not an emergency situation right now requiring that these get done right now. Am I correct?
These were discussed during advisory board meetings probably about a year ago. It was a rock that we didn't want to turn yet because we didn't know who was liable for it and financial wise. And now the tower people are onto us, so as far, I mean, I would think that there is a sense of urgency now that they are onto us.
On your minutes from the last
Why,
commission meeting.
explain to me why the tower people are onto
Because
this.
they have other things that they're going to be putting up there on the tower, and there's a winning intent.
You're talking about ERS?
No, the SBA, the people that own the tower,
So these antennas right away, is that what you're saying?
pretty much from what I'm gathering.
That's okay.
It's a situation that we have treaded lightly on, like I said, because the financial woes, this and that. Now it's on our lap. The last meeting, it was questioned on whose responsibility it was for the tower. Barton sent it to say that it was Adrian's, and I've got it on my lap. The email, they are contacting me. So if you would like for Adrian to handle it, I'll be more than happy to give them all of his information and let him do it.
Frank,
Yes.
I'm looking at the minutes from the last meeting, and it said that Commissioner Jackson made a motion to appoint Adrian Ellis as our contact person for the tower and the company that is operating the tower. And that motion was carried.
Okay.
Then I will forward all of the information about the tower to him then.
Okay.
And it is off of my shoulders then, right? So anything to do with the tower, including the base stations, everything that's at the tower is now going to be under the control of Adrian, even though it is 911's and the city's equipment.
All he is the contact. He's going to be our liaison for the tower, okay? There's still a requirement and a need for cooperation between your department and him.
And there needs to be a cooperation between us and you guys as well. Not to sound like a smart aleck, but I've been spinning my wheels for 2 months now with no response whatsoever.
Do you really think it's appropriate, Terry, for you to come in here and talk to your bosses with that tone of
No,
voice?
I'm just simply saying if you want Adrian to do it, then Adrian can do it. Frank, I'm getting yelled at because I wasn't at the meeting last time. Me and you talked before the meeting. That's why I wasn't
No one
there.
has yelled at you, Terry.
Barton was just, not yelling, but saying that I didn't come.
Well, that's a fact, isn't it?
And it is a fact that I wasn't here, Barton, but it was also a fact that me and Mr. Jackson had a conversation. That's the reason why I wasn't here.
You said,
I am aggravated at the fact that since my suspension, I have went above and beyond to fix the department, and I haven't gotten any cooperation between you guys, the department heads, or anyone. No one.
what you said in the text message was that if there's not going to be a decision made on the tower today, my efforts are best put here at dispatch. Is that correct?
And you said that nothing
Okay.
had been done with it.
Okay, and that was before the meeting, not after the meeting.
It was before
Okay.
the meeting, it was Tuesday
All right,
morning.
and then that's when am I correct, Mrs. Kidd? Is that when the motion was made for Adrian to take care of the tower? Or was it
Correct.
prior? Okay. So there was nothing done. There was nothing done prior to you and I having that text conversation.
I was explaining to Barton that that is why I was not here at the last meeting,
Okay.
because he obviously was not informed of that.
Okay. If that's the case, then that's my fault for not informing him of that, or Zane.
So again, is Adrian going to be the tower person then? Is he the one that's going to take care of this?
He is
I
going
mean,
to be our coordinator for that, and then we will talk to him about this again, okay, because I've been out of commission for at least 10 days. And then we will see what's going on, and then if there's something that needs to be done, then you'll be notified.
Well, what do you want me to tell the tower people? This John Schultz that has brought this to my attention.
Tell him to call Adrian.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
And if Adrian has a question about it, okay, then he can call us to refresh his memory,
Okay. Another issue that I wanted to bring up was the hiring of the full-time. We did have a part-timer that had resigned. We had everything in place to set up to hire the full-time position, and I was told to back off of that because the advisory board wanted more input, because I had asked, I gave them 3-4 weeks in advance to the date of everything, the day before it was due for the interviews. Mr. Jackson contacted me and told me to hold off on filling that full-time slot now. My part-timers can only work 28 hours. So overtime is outrageous right now. Me and Kathy sat in there and crunched some numbers to make sure that we have enough money to even fill out for the year.
So you need a full-time person, is what you're
Absolutely.
saying?
I needed it back in October. I needed it before that.
Okay. Our meeting, our advisory board meeting is on the 11th. That may get changed because the commissioners are going to White County to look at the windmill farm that day, and I doubt we can get up there and back. So let me see when we can change that meeting and maybe get an interview that night, or interviews that night.
Okay, just let me know.
I'm sorry?
So just let me know.
Okay.
So, anything else?
No.
No? Any other patrons or concerns? Huh? Well, if it is, we'll take care of it next month. We need approval of the claims and the payroll.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Claims and the payroll be approved. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Nothing else come before the commissioners. Entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. This meeting be adjourned. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Meeting adjourned.